Okay, good morning, and good morning, Victor and Daniel. How are you guys doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Great, thanks.
It's not the first time we've greeted each other. We've been working together for quite some time now.
Indeed.
Yeah. So my name is Per-Mattias PM Nordqvist. I'm managing director here of Impact in Sweden, and I'm joined together with Victor. Hi, Victor.
Hi.
You're going to show us some of the B2B capabilities of Adobe and some of the built-in AI capabilities. And Daniel, you will show us some of the very advanced CMS functionality that comes with Adobe. You feel
correct?
Are you prepared?
I am.
Let's do this. No, so I think what you will see today is a product that has evolved over the years, and I think is much underappreciated in the market, and that's one of the key reasons why we're doing this today. The Adobe Commerce is an enterprise level product, meaning it can be customized to anything for anyone, but it also today comes with all the critical features that you would see in all the leading platforms in the world, and I think this is a underappreciated fact. And I think we wanted to spend some time today to dig into some of the topics that we think needs more attention for Adobe. First, a little bit about us. Impact is an entrepreneurial-driven company. We're the unique mix of a partner-driven company with a full-service offering. We're around, I think it says 350 people. I think we're getting closer to 400. We have offices in Sweden, Denmark, Serbia, Bulgaria, Romania, Portugal. We're people everywhere. We're serving all the major platforms within e-commerce, but not just e-commerce itself. It's also customer data platforms, CMS, about order management tools, marketing automation. So essentially a full end-to-end capability, which is combined with a entrepreneurial spirit, I think is very appreciated among the people who work here, but also the clients. We try to, I think this has been a mantra of mine for since I started in e-commerce. You need to be in the intersection of technology, maybe brand, the business, and experience. And to do that well, I think you need to cover more and more areas. And I think we together in Impact, we have unique capability to compete on a very small startup level, but also the full European level. And I think we have a shout out to Martin from Trevian, one of our longtime clients on Adobe. So shout out to you, Daniel, for doing a good job over the years. We work with brands all over. I think it's just the brag slide deck, but I think we are comfortable working with high demanding brands, but also small startups. I think one of the most interesting stories has been of smaller companies rising to the stars, and also the global brands. I think allowing brands to be a springboard into the world, like we launched Marshall headphones into India, for instance. That is not an easy task, getting logistics to work in India, but also having click and collect in Umeå is all over the place. I think we bring all these perspectives into everything we do. And I think today we'll focus on Adobe Commerce. And as I said, this is it's equal good in B2B and B2C. And that's not common. Normally you would have to buy two separate systems, or you would have a strong B2C and a weak B2B, or vice versa. I would say that Adobe has really managed to create a really good balance between the two. And what we'll see today is sort of the out-of-the-box capabilities, but it's a system built for customization. So it's fully customizable in every angle. But if you have a blank sheet of paper, like you would do with some of the maybe headless systems, rather, you would have to sort of recreate a lot of things from scratch. Here you would see that you will have a lot of features out of the box that you can then customize. So it's a fast track solution to reach the world. So I think that is what you will see today. One of our key reference cases we have on the Adobe Commerce is the work we've done over the years with Marimekko. And again, there's a heavily investment in B2B. They have a very good B2B store riding on Adobe. They have a best-in-class B2C. They're using all the features we will showcase today. So I think that's a good reference. So please check that out later. I think can also finally be mentioned before we get into the demos that Adobe is more than just commerce. I think combined with Experience Manager, it offers a full suite of features beyond commerce. We're not into this today, but I think the Adobe Commerce product and Adobe Experience Manager are in the same portfolio of products from Adobe. So just mentioning that. And finally, I think that having a global e-commerce scaling fast, I think it needs to be extremely technically scalable, but it also needs to be fully protected. So I think that's one of the aspects I think get forgotten sometimes in the global cloud platforms. If you see there's a lot of investment in these companies to protect stores and protect customer data, and I think that's just going to be increasingly important. So I think these are things you sometimes take for granted. And today is the demo session about things you take for granted or didn't know exist. And I hope you can surprise to the upside today. So we will cover the Page Builder CMS first. It will be an interactive session from Daniel. Daniel is truly mastered, generally I would say, the front-end experience, but also Daniel has a unique skill in taking the existing architecture, adding on top of it without destroying it. And I think that is also an underappreciated skill. Like you need to work with the tools you have. I think we work with all the global platforms in e-commerce, and I think every platform has its strategic strength and weaknesses. And I think that whatever platform you go with, you need to take what's out of the box. You need to amplify it and make it better, but you shouldn't override it or block it, because then you're losing out a lot of features. And what we see today is to have a global e-commerce, you need a global platform. And then there's like 3, 4, 5 global platforms you can work with. And then they come with different flavors. And I think it's very important to be able to use all the features you get out of the box. So that's why the capacity to amplify instead of override is very, very important. And I think that's something that you showed, Daniel, over the years that you're a master at. So without further ado, I think we should leave the stage over to Daniel as we move into the Page Builder demo.
Thank you, PM. Big words. No, but Page Builder, I think, is one of the best additions to this platform in a long while. It's been not lacking, but maybe the CMS part of Magento has been underdeveloped for some time. But Page Builder, I think, solved that and probably put it, in my mind, it's on top of the CMS capabilities now. But basically, I love the Page Builder edition, and what we've done to it is tried to cater it to our customers' needs and make it flexible enough to extend further. So basically, I'll go through what we've done to Page Builder, and I'll only demo some of the components. A full demo of all of this would take a lot of time. So basically, I'm in Page Builder now. I've created a new content page. I open up the WYSIWYG editor, and I will just clear it. So we start from nothing. First thing we've done is we've added a tablet preview for all the content. Magento or Adobe adds desktop and mobile as default. We want tablet as well to be able to show all the breakpoints we're usually working with. On the left side, you have all the components set up. The defaults are the row, columns, and the tabs. We've added something called a flexible layout, slides and accordions. We'll be looking mostly at the flexible today and some of the additions to the other components because of time constraints. But if I drag and drop this flexible to begin with, this is kind of a layout that is pre-created. So I'll drag and drop this. It will create this heading and a button on in the content area, and then in the background we have an image. I can actually add to this or remove if I want to. Any element can be put into this area where I can add more text if I want to. I can remove this. I can remove the image and add a video as a background if I'd like. But let's just create some kind of basic hero widget out of this. So if I drag and drop an image, I put a title in here, and then let's go into the options of the flexible layout. So basically it has 5 different appearances. You can put content side by side, and you can put the image on top with a card layout, and you can create kind of a product section out of this. This is the baseline we usually add to this for specific clients, that we can just pretty easily add more layouts. You could have 2 images with text, you can have 3, like making collages and stuff. But this is what we start with. And then we've kind of removed a lot of the advanced options in here, just keeping to preset paddings and margins, because that's usually what we work with. Clients have design systems or consistent design patterns that they want to reuse. So for editors, they usually just have 2 or 3 options per kind of for padding and spacing between components. So that's what we're tried to keep it to. It also makes it easier for our clients to create content fast. But if we do the hero appearance here, you can see the background color here has been set. That was set from the image when I uploaded it. That's a feature we've built in. So it will kind of take the sample background color of the image and update the widget with that. And if the contrast with black is bad, it will set the text color to white. And you can override this just by changing it, but that's the default behavior. If I want to move the content around on top of the image, I can move it around in kind of a 9-point grid. I think for this image, it only makes sense to have it centered. So let's say that's how this flexible widget works. And if we go into the image component itself, we've done some changes to it. One is the automatic background color. You can upload a mobile image if necessary. For this demo, we won't show that, but you can also select an image focus point, and that's for any case where we need to kind of cut the image to fit a box or something like that. But yeah, that's our additions to the image. We'll create another flexible here. I will remove this background image. So the background is kind of a media slot, so you can drop any media into there. We will add support for maps later. Currently it's image and video, but I will put the video as the background. I will paste the Vimeo ID into it and set the background color. And this will also work in the page builder preview. So you'll have an auto playing video in there. Should have. Let's see. I'll change the text color to be white or some other color on top of that. So this doesn't make sense to have the video maybe behind, so I'll change the layout to be a side by side instead. And so this is how you could work with video in your components or in your layouts, and you can actually put it anywhere you'd like. Next thing, the columns. This is an already existing column or component, but we've done some additions to it. The column group itself has gotten some options so that we can decide all the columns padding or how the responsive strategies should be. So I'll put some content in here and show you. But basically you can select the padding, vertical spacing of the columns, and then if it should collapse, if it should scroll, or if it just should be static on smaller screens. If I save this, if I add another flexible in here, I will drag and drop some suiting image. I will change this button to be a secondary one. Save that and then maybe center everything for it to look nice. So I now have a pretty nice looking widget here. I will duplicate it and I'll put it in the other column here. And now I have two of the same. I want the other one to have another background image. I will drop a new one. So I have two side by side. If I go into mobile or tablet, it will collapse. I don't like this for this case, so I will go to the column group and change it to be scroll. And now the responsive strategy is you can scroll between these two columns. Next last thing, let's see. We have another feature in our flexible layout that adds a product section here. So you'll see it will add the content area, the media, and then some products. And what we can do with this is we can create a campaign looking widget with next to no effort. If I change this, I don't like this automated background, so I'll change to a more bright orange, and then I will just select what products I want in here. I'll go to women tops, save that. And now I kind of have a campaign widget for this, for my summer edit, where I can link to any landing page. That is some of the features we've added on top, but the last thing I want to show you is actually something that I didn't show you on the images. So basically we have a tab called hotspots down here where you can add, well, maybe what it sounds like, you can add hot spots to your images. And this goes for any image in Page Builder that you've added. You can go and select, you can add any type of entity, like URL is a free text. You can add products, categories, or page links. But I think the coolest features is the product one. So I add this, I save the image, and now you can see this hotspot on the preview. And if I open it up, there's a messenger bag here. So I can point out products that are in my campaign images and link people directly to them or have them buy them from the preview. So you can do this over here. You can do it in these images as well. I'll add probably a category link for this one. I'll just link to gear. Save that. And from the preview, if you like to move this with some more precision, you can do that as well, and it will resave everything. And if I save all of this, I'll go to my front end. This is a bit slow because it's on my local environment and I'm doing a lot of I'm doing video sharing and whatnot, but now it's saved. I refresh the page, and this is pretty much one-to-one with what I saw in the admin. An auto-playing video, and then the summer edit down here where I can scroll through products.
That's great, Daniel. I think this is very, very powerful. I think there's a couple of features that stand out to me. One is the automatic background color. I think it's a neat feature where it automatically sets a recommended background color. Why is that important to have a background color on images? If you have an image, why do you need a background color?
You want to set the background color for images that are behind text, so that you make sure that before a user sees an image that it's you maintain good contrast.
Yeah.
So basically, it's something that we've been trying to train our customers to do, but it's like we realize it's just easier to add it as a feature than to nag people about doing it. If we can, why not make it easier?
I think it's good housekeeping, but it's also, it adds to the, I would say, the Google performance index as well, because it measures that if you're putting text in images and it's not loading, or you have text on top of a background and the contrast is not there, you're getting punished for that, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think there's a lot of, I think it's something you assume in a demo, but for everyone who's ever worked in a website, that the one-to-one preview that you see in the back office is not always expected. I think this is very, very, very accurate. And I think it makes it natural for a merchandiser or a content editor to work inside the back office and really trust what's going to show up on the front end. So I think what you need to do, you bring the storefront theme into the page builder page. I think it's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And of course, the hotspot feature is very sexy. Good job on that one.
Thank you.
If there's any questions, please shoot them off to Daniel. I think what are you most proud of, Daniel, in here?
Probably doing all this, trying to make it easier for our clients to create good content, but also maintaining performance. So a lot of what you don't see in here is how we've tried to maintain a good page score, even when using video or images as backgrounds and whatnot. So it's a lot of effort that goes into creating good content with maintained performance.
Yeah, and that's something we are bringing to everything we do. We maintain a performance top list. We track the performance of our clients, and I would say that Marimekko is one of the highest performing websites out of the box. So good job on that one. Okay, I think we're ready to proceed to the next segment. Thank you, Daniel. We're heading on to Victor to showcase the product recommendation engine that comes out of the box with Adobe. And I think that this is also something that is very underappreciated, I think. Probably all of you are familiar with tools like Nosto or Depict, which essentially, if you have a large catalog of 10,000 products, you need to drill down to the 5-10 candidates I want to buy pretty quick. And the one way to do that, of course, is good. Essentially, you have 3 journeys on a website. You have the inspiration journey, you have the search journey, and you have the navigation journey. And across all of these journeys, if we can pinpoint what we assume are good product recommendations for you, we need to do that. So that's where these powerful tools come in, but they also come with a high premium. And actually, Adobe Commerce comes with an out-of-the-box product recommendation tool called Adobe Sensei. And where will this show up on the screen, Victor?
So, hi. So there are different ways to show the product recommendations. Right now, I can show how it be inserted on like the homepage. Now it's a very simple setup here with just a hero, and then you get the most viewed products. And the Sensei and the product recommendation itself, it comes from a separate service where with an API connection that loads the catalog and uses the usage of the site to promote different products based on what type of recommendations you're looking for. So in here, for example, you would be able to click to the product page where you see the product specific recommendations also. And you can create these on the home page, on the category page, on the product page, cart page, and order confirmation page. And you can also actually insert them into the page builder features that Daniel just showed, so you can control even more where you put them.
That's right, and I think that what we see that there's some great tools out there, but if you don't have to pay for them and you don't have to integrate and you can configure them yourself without a consultant, I think that's in the end it's the recommendations that are configured that's the ones that you will deliver.
Exactly. So for this product, for example, these are manually set recommendations that you can perhaps do on certain products, but it's if you have a big catalog, you won't be able to do that. So having these sort of machine learned and trained algorithms working for you, it's the right way to go.
So if you can go in to see how this is configured, because I think this is one of the things that where Adobe really shines. I think it's a great showcase of how deeply integrated these features are.
Right. So yeah, and now I'm logged in as an admin in Adobe. I'll go to marketing and to product recommendations. Here you'll find a list of the recommendations that I've created so far. You get some statistics about how they are performing here, about impressions and views, and now there's no revenue here because there are no completed transactions here, but you would get that too, like if there's a order placed based on the view here. I'll go ahead and create the recommendation. So you can see how that looks. I'll call it the product list page because that is the type I will create. To the right here, you can see the preview of what would be shown in the front end. It should be saved this. So I will move to the category type, and then I'll just get the preview. I'll show. I'll select the category for it to render. And then you can, like I mentioned before, here are the 6 different types of or placing of the product recommendation that you can do. And you will see that
I think they have different purposes. The homepage is just to inspire people. The category is to, if you have a large category of 100 products, how can we pick the 3, 4, 5 most relevant at the top on the product detail? How can we link to a similar but better product? And the cart is used for cross-referencing your purchases, and order confirmation could be for future recommendations.
Yeah, and the AI here has different information depending on where you are. Like on the order confirmation, we know what you just purchased, so it will give you a recommendation based on that. And on the homepage, we know less. So it will be more attuned depending on the type. And then you can select the type then what it should promote. So let's choose like most added to cart maybe, and then a display label that will be shown in the front end, most purchased maybe. Then you select the number, let's use 4, and it's replicated here in the preview. You can choose a placement. I'll show it at the bottom of the normal sort of category list. And then if you have more than one recommendation on the same page, then you can order them here. Right now we don't do that. And then there's this powerful filtering tool which allows you to choose what to select. I'll enable a category filter saying, okay, let's show other products from the same category as the one you're in currently. So there's 2 different sections here. There's inclusions and there's exclusions. And one thing I don't want to show are out of stock products. It doesn't make sense. So I'll exclude them. So now we have products shown from the same category, removing those out of stock. You can do the same thing with low stock products if you want to remove them. But this is what I'll do right now. So I will activate this then and go to product list page or category page, and then you'll see our most purchased here. So it's instant and showing the recommendations here.
Super. I think this is really, really great. And I think that the ability to manage multiple recommendations on multiple levels, having customized recommenders for certain categories is very, very powerful. So I think This comes out of the box. It's not an extra fee. It's bundled into the overall Adobe Commerce fee. So I think it's really great, underappreciated. So if you would move to Adobe Commerce and you already had services like Nosto or Depict, you will be able to sunset those and go all into this instead.
Right.
With that, maybe we should move into the B2B part of the demo. And I think
Exactly.
that this is also, again, it's very, very powerful that you only need one product to rule them all. And I would say that honestly, that it's a product that can be equally good in B2C and B2B. But with B2B comes a lot of different use cases where you have much more focus on how you manage prices, catalogs, users, purchase limits, etc. So I think we'll go into that and see how that will work.
Yeah, we'll take a quick dive into this and what you can configure both as an admin and the self-service part. So I'll start by showing you the how to set up new clients or new companies. There's a company view here where you have a list of your clients here. I can go to edit this one. And then I'll, there's the company's called Baseline. You set the company email and who in your company will be the sales representative. And this will be a list of all the admin accounts here in Adobe. You set up basic account information about the client with the address and stuff like that, and then you assign the company admin, and that is the user that will have the full sort of self-service capabilities then in my account. I'll show you that soon. You can also set up the company credit for this company, where you can see also like a history of that. So right now it's the credit limit is set to 10,000 Swedish crowns. It was recently updated from 1,000 to 10,000. You can see the limit there, and you can also allow certain customers to actually exceed the credit limit. You will also be able to show to per customer set a specific what it's called a shared catalog, and that will give you a possibility to define what products and what part of the catalog should be applicable for this or shown for this specific customer. You can per client set if you want to allow quotes, which is like instead of placing an order, you send in a quote, and then it's a negotiation phase, and then the final price is set through that negotiations, and then you can move on to create an order from that. You can also enable purchase orders, which it places a purchase order, and then it kicks in a approval sequence where different people or different roles need to say yes or no to moving this purchase order into a real order, depending on amount of the order or something like that. It's also possible to per customer to set specific payment methods and specific shipping methods. Right.
There was a question, Victor, on can you use multiple super admins for an account, or is it one only? Like, how would you delegate responsibility to create more users in the future? Does it can only be the one person, or can you create new users for that going forward?
I mean, you can only have one company admin, but you can have several accounts with the same access.
Okay.
So
super.
All right, so I'll show you a little bit how this looks in the front end. So I'll go to my customers here and use this feature to log in as customer. And this is I'm now logging in as the company admin for this baseline company. And then in my admin, you can see you have this company. You can see all the users that are in your company. So these are the ones. You can edit them here or delete them, of course. You get a company structure or organizational chart where you can create teams or would be units maybe in your company, and then you can when you can give different teams different roles and define approval rules based on that.
So normally, if you would have a branch where you have maybe 3, 4, 5 people ordering, one of them would be the approval manager. So he would get all the purchase requests from that team to get approved.
Exactly. And you can also, like, if there's movement within the team, there's a drag and drop possibility to move people from different teams or units, and of course to create new users in here when you have a new recruitment or something like that that's joining your team. And here you can also add what type of role that they have, and I'll show you what the roles mean in a second. Yeah, so this gives you an overview, especially if you have a big team working here, then this is very useful. So you can define different roles also. Created a few here. I'll just show you, edit one of them. And this is called the level 1 buyer. And then you can define what permissions that role has in terms of if they can approve, can view approval rules, what they can do, use quotes and view orders and or go to checkout at all, things like that.
And that would be a scenario where someone creates a basket and someone else, you would create an order template and then a manager would actually place the order. So you wouldn't even have the approval process at all. I think that would be you could ask, why do you have an e-commerce without a checkout? But sometimes the order volumes, the values on these orders are too high. So you don't want people to place orders independently at all.
Exactly. And then you can set these approval rules. And then, so I've created one, which is like, okay, this is a flow where all orders above 10,000 Swedish crowns will initiate this approval rule. And that can also be applied to everyone and all roles, or like, okay, this specific roles, like, okay, the level 1 buyer will need to have this approved by someone else, but level 2 buyers don't. So that is a rule that you can, and then you can define who will need to approve it.
The company administrator is the super admin that was referred to in the chat before, right?
Exactly. So this is the one I'm logged in now. So you can add more. You have a purchase manager. There's one other ones. You can create new ones like this, like as you see fit. And of course, these people will get an email when an order is placed that triggers this rule, and in that email you'll get a link to like my purchase order. And as company admin, I actually have prepared an approval flow. So this is something that requires my attention as a company admin. So there's Joe Johnson here has placed an order for above 10,000 Swedish crowns. so that triggers that, then I will be able to view the order or approve it or reject it.
I'll just acknowledge that we've read the questions in the chat, and we'll get back to them once we're wrapping up the B2B part here.
I think, yeah, so that is pretty much what I wanted to show about the self-service part. Should we take questions? I haven't been able to read the questions. Should we stop here a bit?
We can stop and take a couple of questions, so people have to run. I think we'll get back to the catalog structure, and here you can customize pricing and products uniquely for different companies. We can start at the top. So Mikko Jukla asks, what are the key reasons why Marimekko decided to select Impact as a partner and Adobe Commerce as their e-commerce platform? I think we were both part of that, Victor, that process. And I think it's, I think they had a local partner in Finland at the time. It wasn't broken, but I think they were aiming higher, wanted more. So I think the honest answer is mostly chemistry and talent. I think they recognized that we were really good at this topic, but also I think we could offer a way of working that was smoother and faster. So I think that's, and also, how do you add, what do you think were the triggering factors why they went with our team?
I mean, I think we had a width of both the B2B and B2C commerce that they are doing heavily on both ends. And then it's a lot of the chemistry and our sort of experience within those areas.
I think platform-wise, they were on the old Magento platform and were familiar with the ways of working. I think it was a convenience, but I also think in totality, I think the license model is really good. I've seen the license model for the big systems like Salesforce or SAP or others, and they can be you're making commitments into the future that you're uncertain of. I think that there's a threshold level in the model of Adobe that I think is it's very predictable what you're going to pay in the future. I think that could also fit into it. Then we have a couple of more detailed questions regarding the site in general. One was not related to B2B, both in regards to the page builder and the Sensei recommendations. Could these be store view specific? Meaning, could you have different page builder landing pages for different store views? Daniel, how would you respond to that?
Sorry,
could you have, let's say that you want to have a campaign that runs for one region. Can you activate content on a campaign level for different countries? Let's say we'd run a campaign for the Nordics, but not for the North America, for instance.
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah. How would that work? Would you do it on a store level, or would you trigger it by a campaign? I think you can do both, right? You can either manage it on a store level or trigger a campaign that would be visible in just one.
Yeah, and you can also kind of set up pages on a website level, but then link sections of that is store view on store view level. So I think there's a couple of different ways of doing it, and I'm not exactly sure which one is the best, but there are ways of doing it.
I think it's if it's the campaign that's referred in the question, I would say create a campaign and let that campaign trigger a content block on the markets where it's activated. I think that's probably because then it would automatically close down when the campaign is over. So the campaign would be linked to a schedule, and the schedule would start and stop the campaign, the pricing, discounts, or whatever it is, but also the page builder sections. Finally, we have a B2B related question, Victor, on Adobe Sensei in B2B. Could logged in customers, let's see, the question regarding Adobe Sensei and B2B logged in customers. Can you use the engine paired with known customers and their buying pattern? If you have logged in users, how would the Sensei be able to leverage that insight of a logged in user?
On an individual basis, I don't know the exact in details about how the AI works there, but the more sort of low level detail that Sensei has about the user, if it's individual, then it will they will give that more power in the recommendations than from based on your where in the country you are or something like that.
I think that there's actually a I think short answer is, as you said, that after order confirmation page, you know more what they actually bought, so you have the most insight. Even better than order confirmation page is logged in users, because you have the previous purchase behavior, and you can do much better recommendations before purchase as well. So I think that generally we see customers wanting to get more first party data. Like the more data you collect on a user in general, the better we can serve, because then we don't need to rely on anonymous data. So it's an agreement with you and your customers that if you log in, you will of course be allowed to leverage user data, and I think they appreciate it. So as we know, the third-party data is going way more and more. I think getting customers to log in is going to be more and more important in e-commerce in general.
Exactly, and I see that there was a follow-up question about customer groups, and that is like something that is very applicable in both B2C and B2B commerce, but in B2B, where you might have customers that certain customer will only resell or buy, buy from you a part of your catalog, and then I'll shortly go into showing you how to do that shared catalog, where you have where you can limit what part of your entire catalog that a certain client will show. But you can also segment the CMS part on what you want to show to. Okay, this customer only shows the sports part of what we're selling. Then let's focus the information around that.
I think we actually will come back to the last question, Anders, about the customer groups also. So I think let's wrap up on the catalog and the pricing, and then we can show how we can segment to logged in customer groups, because I think that's a very valid use case. We actually have a prepared final demo snippet for that.
Yeah, exactly. So with the B2B features turned on here, you have this called shared catalogs, where you can get the list of you create shared catalogs, and I've created some already, and you can assign them to one or many companies. So this is a company called Victorious that has this this shared catalog, and I'll just show you how you can use it. Then you can select set pricing and structure, and then you see your catalog structure, and you configure which part of this structure should be applicable for this shared catalog, and then this customer. So I've made this selection where only the men's part is available. I won't do the setup now because it runs on cron, so it takes a few minutes to set it up. So I'll have it prepared, and then in the next part you will be able to, from the categories that you and subcategories that you selected, you select products. You can select all of them, and then you can say, okay, what type of discount do you want to set for all of this? Either a percentage discount or a fixed price discount. Or you can do it per product, of course.
So I think this is a great view of how you would do it in manually in the admin. Of course, this is an enterprise level system, so all the things you see here can of course also be imported and integrated from an ERP system externally on a large enough scale. I would assume that's what they do at not to spill any secrets, but the bigger you get, it would be more natural to import this data. But the important thing is, if you do it in ERP or if you do it here, the system needs to support it. And I think this is showcasing the way the system treats it, and it's built into the architecture. It doesn't tweak anything. It actually comes out of the box.
Exactly. And then I'll just show you how that would look. Like now we have a customer here that has a limited view. I'll just log in as a user in this victorious company. So I'll use this to show you how that looks. And then when you're logged in as this one, it will only show you the men section. And then you can also
I just want to highlight that Adobe can also show products for women.
I'll add that as a disclaimer, and you can see also that you get this 10% discount, right?
I would also say that when you go into purchasing, you would maybe have alternate versions of the product detail page, so they would be more tailored toward big order purchases. But this is the standard PDP as it comes out. Should we show the segmentation of segmentation of content? I think this is the question that Anders was raising in the chat.
Yeah, I can do that too. You have something called dynamic blocks, and that is a type of content where you can. I've created one here called a homepage block, where you can define different content per customer segment. And a customer segment is, it could be men or women or kids or home or something like that. Now it's customer segment called Marvel, and each account or each could be in more than one customer segment. So
I think one good example could be that if you work with, if you're selling maybe to large companies, or you're selling to hotel and cafes, so it could be totally different segments of buyers. Then you can have one HoReCa segment for the hotels and cafes, and you can have like an enterprise segment for large, if IKEA is buying from you, or the nearby coffee shop. Those would see different types of marketing material when they log into the page.
Exactly. Or if you're selling, like, I'm selling alarms and something else, and this is an alarm customer, then you do want to have information about that. And then you create the content block with Page Builder, the same setup that Daniel showed you earlier. So you have the same capabilities here of customizing the content. And the big difference here is that when you use this, it will only be visible to this customer segment. So having created this block, you go then to content, and let's see where I want to put this. I'll go to the homepage and edit that. And in here, go with Page Builder. You can see the hero here, and then my VIP area, which is the segmented part, where you can decide where it's only the Marvel customer segment that will see this. So showing this on for a non-logged in user, in this case, you won't see that part. And then for a user with that, I think this was this one, all right? Go to the start page for this one. I have this EIP area, and you can also you can stack these segmented content, right? So you have 3 of them, one for segment A, one for segment B, and one for a combination of them, maybe. So you can have loyal customers specific that sells part of your catalog, or combination.
Great.
So
I think excellent demo, Victor. I think we've covered, just to repeat, I think we've been able to cover the areas of the Page Builder drag and drop. I think it's superior CMS system. Great job, Victor. Daniel, we have, I think, the Adobe Sensei is it's a low-key features in terms of visibility, but it replaces external and expensive services. And then I think the B2B capabilities that are out of the box is reflecting the architecture that comes with the systems. And again, with an enterprise level systems, you usually want to expand. You never want to block or override, but you want to expand. And I think that we've showed how we can expand with the drag and drop tools, and everything else we also showed can of course be expanded as well. So I think that is the purpose. And before we wrap up today, I would just like to give a final shout out to the Omnichannel Index that's happening in September. This is something we do at the Impact. We did it 2 years ago, and it's getting an update now. We have, you can go check it for yourself at omnichannelindex.com. Maybe Maria can post a link in the chat. It is a very comprehensive study of 275 brands and retailers in the Nordics, where we have people right now out shopping in the stores, testing to see what kind of service you get, etc. We will rank everybody, and there will be events in all of the Nordics. And we have some amazing speakers lined up for the Stockholm event that we will be doing. And we have confirmed speakers from Google, IKEA, Lego, and Indiska. So I think that is very exciting. So we will let you know when this happens. It's still a few months out, but really excited to host this event in Stockholm. And with that, I think it's a wrap. Thanks, everybody. And
can I add one thing?
Yeah, sure.
To the end, something I kind of forgot during my presentation, but one thing that is a big upside of doing your CMS on the same platform you're selling is that you can, without any complex integrations, you can use your product as the content, and that's what we're trying to do with the hotspots and being able to link to all the entities of your e-commerce. I think that's a good point to make.
The product is your content.
Yeah.
Great. So with that, we'll say thanks for today and go back to work, everybody.
Thanks all.